What's up, deep thinkers? It's Robert from Existence First, and what I want to talk to you about today is a three-level way of looking at excuses. Okay, we all know the phrase making excuses, and if you're at all familiar with self-help, then you're probably not making what I would call low-level excuses. These would be when you blame other people for something that you did. When I was really young, my brother and I, we were growing up, we got into a lot of, fist fights, playful wrestling and whatnot. But then one person ended up crying, and then, right, and then the other kid would, or the aggressor would say, well, he made me do it. He was annoying me. He made me punch him, right? And clearly, the other person didn't make you punch them. It was, yeah, you were in control of your actions. You got to take responsibility for them. Okay. But most of us have gone beyond that. Interesting side note is, for my day job at the nonprofit where I work, I sometimes have to accompany clients into court, and the judge in this particular courtroom, he gives these like motivational talks, right? Because he has clientele that they cycle in and out of the jail system, right? So the judge here, he does these like motivational talks, and he'll say something like, and he addresses the whole courtroom at once. He'll say something like, you guys need to stay out of jail. It's very simple. You just do what I ask you to do. If I ask you to see your probation officer, you go see your probation officer. If you, or the thing that I hear over and over again is, I was going to see my probation officer, but then I ran into my friend on the bus, and blah, 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 right? And he's like, you need to stop making excuses. And I thought that was really interesting, because it really made me start reflecting on the nature of excuses, and what are there different levels of excuses, right? All right, so that would be like a low level excuse, okay? Second, like a medium level excuse maybe would be something where you kind of point out scarcity. So you kind of acknowledge that it was your decision, but then you were dealt like a rough hand or a limited time. For example, you say, well, I ran out of time, or I wasn't able to read this book because I had to work late, or I didn't go to the gym because I had to take care of my family. Family comes first. And so these excuses start to get a little bit, they almost don't sound like excuses. They almost sound like poor you, like you're doing so much, right? And that's where they become deceptive and dangerous, is because they slip, they slip like right past our radar. Okay. And there's also, high level excuse would be something like, you don't do something you need to do, and the reason that you give is because you're doing some other huge grandiose thing that is developing yourself, or whatever. Case in point, I haven't been following my traditional workout routine in the last couple weeks, and what I've been telling myself is that I need the extra half hour of sleep so that I can be at peak performance and this or that, right? So it sounds like I'm like trying to perform at this high level or whatever, but in the end, it's just an excuse. And I think the reality of it is that it's cold out, it's November, and even though we're in California here, the mornings get down to the 40s, and as you can see my coat, I do not like to be cold. So there it is. I think that's the truth. I mean, what we have to come back to is, in the end, is this, like, did we get the job done or not? Right? Of course, we can't do a million things at once, but, did we get the most important things done? This reminds me of, there's a very, very good interview between Ty Lopez and Gary Keller, who's the author of The One Thing. This is a YouTube video, so if you want to search it, I might be able to put a link below, but man, that video was so motivating, and it really opened my eyes to help me realize, like, wow, I'm making way more excuses than I had thought, right? So, in summary, there's these low level excuses, medium and high, and even though you've studied self-help, and you may have studied self-help, and you've gone beyond these low level excuses, and you stopped blaming other people for keeping you from reaching your goals, there are these higher level excuses, right? Which is very, very, very deceptive. So, what you can do is comment below on whether there's an excuse that comes to mind that you've been using that you finally just now realize that that you've been using, or comment below what's the funniest excuse you've ever heard. Okay. Remember to subscribe, think deeply, and put your existence first.